Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins Gate 0. In the last episode, Rintaro, Okabe, and Mayuri Shina had departed from Kaede, Fubuki, and Yuki on the train to Ikebukuro. And it seems that, Rintaro's little fishing expedition worked to try and gauge the fact that, well, to an extent, in that he is roughly about 95% sure that Amadeus Kurisu is posting under the handle Kurigohan and Kamehameha, which is just so happened to be the original ad-channel handle of none other than Kurisu Makase herself. But elsewhere in the Future Gadget Laboratory, Suzuha Mane was reminiscing about the events in 1998 when Kaguri Shina, under the brainwashing of the voice of God, destroyed the IBN 5100 and then left the time machine behind, and she is now 22. But she is here in Akihabara. By the way, we missed, there were some 3 new tips that occurred that didn't happen the last time around. First of all, ADSL, Asymmetrical Digital Subscriber Line. A type of internet connection. ADSL uses telephone lines for high-speed data transmission. In the early 2000s, these quickly replaced IDSN, or ISDN, as the de facto method of connecting to the internet. But in the later part of the decade, FTTH services using fiber optics became more popular, and the number of ADSL users has declined ever since. We didn't have that before when we saw that the first time around, but speaking of IDSN, Integrated Services Digital Network. A completely digital network that used digital exchanges, relays, and subscriber lines. It was far faster than the analog lines that were originally used by dial-up internet services, but massively decreased after the introduction of the faster ADSL, which in turn became obsolete, as I've just pointed out. But here is one that has popped up as well. Emakita Industries. Now, why is this interesting? Well, it's because it popped up on the during the quote-unquote fishing expedition from the Anon from the Depths. Or it could very well mean absolutely nothing. It could just be other users. Net slang. It's used to mean, I just joined this thread and I'm not sure what's going on. Can someone explain to me in 3 lines or less? A play on the Japanese words emakita sangyu, or which can mean either I just got here, give me 3 lines, or Emakita Industries. So it doesn't actually mean anything. It's internet slang. I was mistaken. Also disappointed.
Oh, Maho-tan! Osu!
It seems like Daru is communicating with Maho. Daru was sitting at the computer next to Suzuha and talking into his monitor. The monitor was displaying a video chat screen. On the screen was a young girl dressed in slavishly fashion. No, a proper, fully grown lady. Forget, everything before that was just lies. Looks like we're communicating via Skipe. Skipe, no, it's Skype. It's definitely Skype. And a very good morning to you, Maho Hiajo. And by that, it was 8:30 PM at the Future Gadget Lab in Akihabara. Meanwhile, Victor Condria was an hour off from usual due to daylight savings time, and it was 7:30 AM.
ヒヤジョーさん、大丈夫？
この時間だし寝起きっしょ。
Most likely. Maho was a mess. Her hair was never combed right, but her eyes were bloodshot and her gaze was wandering. The spots under her eyes were too dark for the little bit of makeup she applied to cover them up. Her cheeks were sunken, which made her look even tinier than usual. On top of that, her skin was terribly pale. She looked like something out of a zombie movie. I wonder if she's aware of her disheveled appearance. Also, Daru, please stop. It is not a compliment. Normally she would have gotten upset at Daru's joke. But either she'd gotten used to it or simply given up because she said nothing.
そっちの進展はどう？
なんとかオカリンが分解しちゃう前の状態に組み立て直したを。機能はほぼ再現できてると思われ。
Wait a minute. Rebuild it? Before Rintaro took it apart? No. Please tell me you're not rebuilding what I think you're rebuilding. Daru glanced towards the development room, past the curtain in the back of the lab. I think you are. Right now, he was working with Maho to recreate what Rintaro had called the time leap machine.
うまくいかないの？
That's no surprise.
なんか安定しないっつうか、普通の電子レンジになっちゃうんだよね。
And even in its heyday, Future Gadget number 8 was created purely through serendipity and circumstance. It was never intended to actually be a proverbial time machine.
そう。
And it certainly had its uses. Sad to say, however, if Rintaro were to arrive back at this new development, he most definitely would not be pleased about this turn of
何がいけない
events.
のかしらね。
オカリンにそこんところの話を聞ければ違ってくるんだけどな。
Of course, at this point in time, Rintaro Okabe wants nothing to do with the phone wave TBA and the time leap machine.
無理だよ。私たちがこんなことしているって知っただけで怒鳴り込んでくるよ。
So Suzuha, Daru, and Maho all tried to develop it under his radar.
おじさんは恐れているんだ。世界線の収束する力というものを。
To be fair, Suzuha Mane, he has every right to be afraid of the power of worldline convergence.
あの人を説得するのは容易じゃない。
It won't be easy to effect worldline convergence either. Just pointing that out. In fact, it had almost been a year since he'd first tried and failed. However, for Rintaro Okabe, his trials and failures are too numerous to mention. There was a moment of silence. Nobody's arguing the point.
ってマホタン、もしかして寝てんじゃね？
And Daru with the dropping the bombshell, or and Maho has just realized what's happened. Looks like she's been sleep Skyping. Maho's whole body jerked, and she almost fell out of her chair.
危なかったわ。出勤前なのに二度寝してしまうところだった。
That's what you were afraid of?
つーか、頑張りすぎだお。無理して体壊したら意味なくね？
It's not often that I agree with Daru with anything, but he's right on this point.
このくらい平気よ。というか、これだけやってもまだ天才にはかなわないんだから。
Well, Kurisu Makase may have created the time leap machine, but in order to do that, you actually need to have the phone wave TBA first, and Kurisu wasn't around when the phone wave TBA was manifested.
そんなことないと思うけどな。僕はさ、マホタンだって十分天才だと。
気休めなら不要よ。
But I'm sure she appreciates you trying to cheer her up.
岡部さんの言っていたタイムリープ、こんなにヒントはあるのに、未だに解を見つけられないんだもの。
Of course, without Rintaro's knowledge, they're having to do everything from scratch.
記憶データなんて膨大なものをどうやって圧縮して過去へ送ることができたのか。
Yeah, funny that. You see, the reason that the phone wave TBA worked so incredibly well was that, thanks in part to the combination of a microwave, a cell phone, and a 42-inch CRT television, was somehow able to create not only an electrical discharge, but also a singularity of sorts. Of course, in the case of the time leap machine, Kurisu obviously needed something else in order to compress the data of a person's memory. And for that, well, we actually have Daru to thank for that, because he was the one who managed to tap into the very thing that we needed to make the time leap machine possible, which was CERN's Large Hadron Collider.
クリスはそれをやってのけたっていうのに。
It doesn't seem like they've figured out how to use it yet. In that context, or in that manner. Maho seemed upset. It was obvious even through the monitor. Even now she's still chasing Kurisu's shadow.
愚痴をこぼしている場合じゃなかったわね。
Of course, using the LHC has its drawbacks, because using it will ultimately tell CERN that somebody else has remote access to it. And given the hostage situation between Maho, Rintaro and Daru and CERN, that raising any more red flags than necessary is probably a bad thing.
今日の報告、他に何かあるかしら。なければそろそろ出勤しようと思うのだけれど。
It seems like Maho is eager to head off to Victocontria.
もう一つある。
Suzuha has one final thing to add to the conversation. Suzuha looked at Daru.
前から調べてほしいって頼まれてた件について。
Apparently they're looking into another matter.
何か分かったの？
はっきりしたことはまだ。
Although it doesn't seem like they've found anything.
そう。
What
あ
could
ち
it
こ
be
ち
in
のネッ
aid
トワー
of?
クに強引に侵入したりとかギリギリまではやってみたんだ。
So it seems like Daru's been putting his super hacking skills to their
別に責め
test.
たりしないわ。今分かっていることを教えてちょうだい。
いやむしろ激しく罵倒とかしてくれて OK なわけだが。
Now is not the time,
父
Daru.
さん、
早くして時間が来ちゃうから。
Maho's getting impatient.
ほいほい。
Daru opened a different window on the monitor. He displayed one of the text files in it. It was a record of the information Daru and Suzuha had collected. But for what?
まず魔法団たちがホテルの地下駐車場で襲われた事件。
So, but they've been looking into that, have they?
警察の発表だと新興カルト教団の男が違法薬物を使った末にって話になってるけど。
Of course, if you've been following me thus far on this adventure, in this LP, we kind of know better. That person was brainwashed. Or heavily under the effects of severe brainwashing. And more to the point, said person just so happened to be the main heckler in the Amadeus seminar. Of course, only
あれ
Rintaro
間
recognized
違い
him.
なく嘘だわ。
And Daru seems to have found holes in the official story.
嘘。
犯人の身元は警察発表通り某大学の准教授。
So the man himself was an assistant professor, of all people, and he was completely criticizing Kurisu Makase.
これはいいんだけどさ、そいつが宗教団体に所属してたっつう事実がこれっぽっちも出てこないんだよね。
And I don't think we're going to find anything either.
公安が隠し持ってる教団員のデータにもアクセスしてみたから確定。
So there might be others as well.
捏造ってことなのね。
But in other words, there is a big cover-up going on here.
アットチャンネルとか見てるとさ、信者っぽい人が時々書き子するんだよね。教団は無実だとか陰謀だとか。
People do that all the time on that
そうす
channel.
ると一瞬でものすごい数の教団アンチが湧いてきてフルボッコなわけ。
Typical troll behavior. Hater. People on the internet who have a negative opinion about a certain person or thing, they'll go wherever fans of that person or thing gather and deliberately write things to provoke them. They often get into heated debates with fans. Beat the daylights, a one-sided battle in which the target gets the daylights beaten out of them.
しかもそのアンチどももっともらしい偽の証拠とかガンガン出してくるんだよ。画像付きとかで。
Well, with digital technology, anything is possible these days.
いくらなんでもあれはちょっと異常。
Problem is separating truth from fiction.
そうなの？私、そのアットチャンネルというのをあまりよく知らないから。
Oh, that's right. Maho has absolutely no idea that her protege and rival was a at-channel junkie.
アットちゃん含めてさ、大抵の大手サイトには工作員が張り付いてるもんなんだよ。
After all, if there is one fish that could easily swim through the currents of at-channel, it is Kurisu Makase.
しかもビジネスとしてバイト代もらってね。朝から晩まで24時間ぶっ通しで。
Being paid money to actually hate on people on an internet forum 24 hours a day, that's
情報操
something.
作プロパガンダだね。
Indeed it is. An advertisement for a specific ideology, primarily used for political and religious purposes. Propaganda has been around since the time of the Roman Empire, beginning in the 20th century, particularly after the end of the Second World War. Its methods have become more insidious. One example of this new propaganda would be attempts to manipulate public opinion via mass media. Propaganda advertisements are not always true, and the most obvious of them includes lies and slander to their targets if it's to their wielder's advantage.
政治家や官僚なんかもネット世論の誘導に利用してるし、それを専門にしてる会社もあるくらいだお。
In some sort of bizarre free-for-all.
なるほど。それならわかるわ。そのあたりはアメリカも日本も同じね。
Sadly, propaganda is an issue worldwide.
で
Dealing
も
with it
工
is a
作員な
huge
んて
pain.
僕からしたら IP 変えてもバラバラなんで。
But try as they might, they can't conceal themselves from the keen eyes of Rintaro Hashida.
それでチェックしてみたら、あの事件、すごい人数の工作員が投入されてるっぽい。
But seems like they have a lot of investigators researching this
どこ
so-called
からそんな
cult.
に金が出てるんだよってレベル。
そう。
There is some sort of shady underground deal going on
父
here.
さんのバイト先が襲われた方の事件は？
そっちも同じ。
So that was definitely related. It's hard to chalk it up as a coincidence. The police had called it a fight between foreign mafias trying to expand their territory in Japan. The media never questioned the story at all, and even people on the boards of the famously skeptical at-channel believed in everything they were told. Of course, there was no mention whatsoever of Russia or SERN, so they managed to keep that under wraps, surprisingly. But we know the truth, don't we?
でさ、試しに目撃者を装ってロシアの特殊部隊を見たってすれ立ててみたんだよね。
I don't think you needed to pretend to be a witness. You are a witness, and you did see some Russian special forces, so there is actually no pretend about it. Although you probably pretending to be somebody else. And once again, no dialogue doesn't come through. But looks like the trolls have all come out of the woodwork.
あん時は思わず工作員の本名から会社名まで全部晒してやろうかと思ったっつうの。
Well, they don't know any better, Daru. Because they weren't there. Evidently, he'd been really irritated. It was weird for Daru to get so angry, or maybe it wasn't, she decided.
つまりどこかから圧力がかかっていて幕引きにされたってことね。
So somewhere out there, someone is exerting some sort of control.
さすがは自由の国日本だけのことはあるわ。
アメリカも似たようなもんじゃね。
Indeed. I think, in the end, certain countries are more alike than they would care to admit.
違いないわね。
Glad we're on the same page. The two of them smiled at the joke.
つうわけで僕としてはお手上げ。
Apparently we can't dig up any more information on this, strange, mysterious cult. But I don't believe it is a cult.
そう。それで十分よ。調べてくれてありがとう。
ヒア嬢さん、研究所から来日の許可は下りそうなの？
It's going to be hard to convince Liskinen,
それが
of all people.
レスキネン教授の助手として連れて行ってもらえるよう何回も申請しているのだけれど、却下の連続なのよ。
Ah, that's right. Liskinen is already here in Japan. After all, he already bumped into Rintaro while he was checking on Fubuki. But, for some reason they don't want Maho going along with him. Yeah. Yeah, that's not totally suspicious at all.
レスキネン教授は今こっちに来てるんだっけ？
ええ、新型脳炎の調査でね。
Of course he is. And, here's a little hint from me to you. He's not telling us, or he's not telling you everything. Since it had nothing to do with artificial intelligence, it seemed Maho wouldn't be allowed to go along. I wonder about
いいわ。
that.
どうしてもダメと言うなら、こっちにも考えがあるもの。
It seems like Maho has no choice but to keep working at Victochondria for the
ど
time
うする気？
being.
まさか上官の命令無視してでも正義を貫くとか。そして悪に捕まってしまうんですね。わかります。
Seriously, Daru.
ねえねえマホタン、殺せって言ってみて。できればすごく悔しそうな顔で。
は？
Suzuha, you have permission to give him a karate chop at the back of the neck.
父さん。
Pay him no mind, Maho. Suzuha's hand went for her back pocket. Ooh, she's serious now.
させん。
Daru's shoulders slumped as she apologized. Lately, she'd been able to put a stop to Daru's terrible jokes just by doing that. She wasn't sure if it was a good or bad thing that she knew exactly how to handle him. I would say good in this instance.
ま、とにかく近々そっちへ行くわ。
It seems like Maho has thought of a way to actually get to Japan after all.
わかった。日程が決まったら連絡を。それとヒア嬢さん、出勤するならもう一度鏡を見てからにした方がいい。
Probably a good idea to tell her this, although having said that, the timing of your observation there, Suzuha, at this point is, shall we say, tactless. Very, utterly tactless. Just before they ended the core, Suzuha decided to warn her. It seems like Maho hasn't fully grasped the meaning of her words. Maho stood up and walked towards the closet without turning off the camera. She vanished from view, but a moment later... Too little, too late. She must have seen how terrible she looked, because she let out a very unfeminine scream. We'll leave her to it. They relaxed for a moment after turning off the video chat. Suzuha thought back to the time before she became a time traveler. She did this every time she got off the video chat with Maho.
タイムマシン開発の協力者、ヒヤ城真帆か。
That's actually an interesting point now that I think about it. Because you have to remember, in the Alpha World line, Kurisu Makase never even brought up Maho Hyajo in the first place. And yet now, for some reason, Maho has been roped into helping us with the time... Well, she's helping with the time leap machine. Whereas she's helping with us with the actual development of the time machine from 2036 is another matter. It was after Maho had gone back to America that she'd volunteered to help Suzuha and Daru with the time machine. That meant that when Daru completed the time machine 25 years from now, Maho must have contributed in some way. In fact, we already know this for certain, but that was in a different world line than this one that we're currently on. But... and yet, even Suzuha can tell that something is rather off about that. Not in a bad way.
あんまり未来のことを言うのはまずいんだけど、父さんの仲間にそんな名前の人いなかったんだよね。
え、そうなん？
ということはさ、どこかのタイミングで開発メンバーから抜けるってことなんじゃないかな。
Possibly, but then again, there is another theory to
自分の意
Maho's
思なのか、
involvement.
それ以外の外的要因なのかはわからないけど。
And it seems that Suzuha has never met Maho Hyajo in the future, either directly or indirectly.
少なくとも開発の主要メンバーじゃなかったと思う。
No, I don't believe she was.
そうなのか。かなり頼もしい人だけどな。
こんなことを言いたくはないけど、どこかのスパイという可能性もある。
Interesting thought, but your suspicions on Maho are better directed elsewhere.
いくらなんでもマホタンに限ってそれはないよ。
ごめん。でもそういう可能性もあるっていうことだけは頭に入れておいて。言ったでしょ、第3次世界大戦前の情報戦はもう始まってるんだ。
Indeed, it already has, and we're right in the middle of it.
どっちにしろマシンの秘密が無駄に漏れるのは困るよ。それだけは徹底するようちゃんと注意しておいてよね。
Suzuha is still very adamant on that.
うん。
Of course, if that information falls into the hands of any of the organizations trying to get their hands on it, we are basically at
こ
square
の先の
zero.
タイムマシン開発はどう進めていくつもり？
The elephant in the
やっぱ
room.
オカリンの協力がないとな。
結局そこなんだよね。オカリンおじさん、やっぱり無理なのかな。
I would say at this point in time that is entirely doubtful.
こうなったら力ずくで。
But then he might just clamp up even further.
前にそれしようとして失敗したのはどこの誰だっけ？
And Daru brings up a very good point. If it didn't work then, it's certainly not going to work now. Suzuha pursed her lips. Even with a gun in his face, Rintaro Okabe still wouldn't get in the time machine. To be honest, Suzuha was out of options. She stifled a sigh. It didn't do any good to let herself get down.
そういえば母さんとはうまくやれてる？
Yes, and there is the other situation of Daru and Yuki Amane that obviously Suzuha wants to address because, of course, well, she has, having her reasons of wanting to exist in the future. It's completely understandable. However, I'm going to end the episode for the time being, and when we return, adventurers, we shall see whether Suzuha has been successful in getting Daru and Yuki closer, or whether it's all failed spectacularly. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.